Hey guys, over here and welcome back to the channel. So I have completed my Storybook Vale, so this video is going to be kind of a walkthrough of all my different builds that I've done. Now I did all of these builds in videos that I have in this playlist. I will link it down below, but if you're curious about any build, I have literally all of the builds in one video. Sorry, one playlist. But at the top of here, I haven't included this in any video because I just did this on my own. It's just a very simple little decor that I did up here. I think it looks really cute. I kept it really simple, but I used a lot of flowers and I think they look so cute when they're kind of like half in the ground. I don't know really why it does that, but they kind of glitch out and the border gets deleted. So yeah, I did include those around here. Down the bottom of my bind, I think this is my first ever video in this series, and it's like a bind city, but I did kind of focus it to be a little bit more like rustic. I have a little kind of beachy area here with a stitch market with lots of fruit and veggies, and then on the other side I have a bigger sort of market. Now I love using these market stalls in the bind. I just think they work perfectly. I have this little like roundabout area in the middle with the back being the haunted manor. I can't remember the name of it. I have Remy's over here with a little seating area. I did wish to put more seating, but I just kind of ran out of space, so I only got one little seat in here, but I still think it looks really cute. Around here we have more kind of flowers, and then on this side I have a kind of seating area here and also a clock tower there. Back here I really wanted to do like a school build. This kind of reminded me of a bus. Obviously I know it's like a tram or a train, but I'm just kind of using it like it's a bus. This is the school here, and then I did like a little outdoor kind of classroom. I have a little playground, it looks kind of like a science class, so I'm just going to call it a science class. We have a little art area and a little sewing and pottery area, which I think looks so cute. It was really fun to make, and I love doing little builds like this. Over here I have a little pool for the school, and then I have my Scrooge, which I think looks really cute. I did just put some of the trees over here and not really much in the back there because I kind of ran out of room, but yeah, that's this build. On this side I did a petting zoo, which was also so fun and one of the first builds that I did in the series. When you come into the petting zoo, I have this little food store with lots of little items on the table. I did try and use the new Storybook Vale items. I guess they're not that new anymore, but the Storybook Vale like food items, because I thought they looked really cute. And then we have like a little reception desk, a sign, and I'm just imagining that that's like a sign for the actual sanctuary, but obviously it's not. You walk underneath this arch and then you kind of come into the sanctuary. I have a little area here to get some popcorn. Thought that was quite a cute detail with a little Winnie and the Pooh kind of popcorn bucket too. We have the statue over here is like a little sitting area, and I've just got it set up like someone's brought their picnic stuff and they're eating their popcorn. We have like a crafting kind of stall and then a food stall, kind of a little bit random in an animal sanctuary, but oh well. Over here I have some capybaras in their little enclosure. I actually really love how this one turned out. I think it looks super cute. And then over here I think I have like dragons or something, but for some reason they're not showing. Oh, there they are. Oh, look at how cute they look. Yeah, so I have little dragons in here. Oh, they look actually so cute. I've got like a little volcanic stone, a bathing area, and their little cave. I thought that was quite cute. I have lots of little seating areas kind of around the place, and back here I have a little toilet area where I have just 3 outhouses, a stone sink, some little foliage in the middle, and just some decoration there. Lots more seating, and then I use these little tour boats because I just imagine you can like go out and see like some ocean animals out there. I thought that was a cute little detail. On this side of the build I have Al's toy barn with some little birds that are kind of just like out, and yeah, Al's toy barn, which I just imagine there's like more animals in there. It's not decorated though, unfortunately. Over here I have my little turtle enclosure with lots of little water features and baths and stuff. I thought this was quite cute. And a little seat to sit here. This is like a little gift shop. I kind of think that all zoos slash petting zoos have, or sanctuaries have some sort of gift shop, so I thought it would be really cute to add. And nothing really back here, just a little waterfall. I thought I would just show a big overview of my full bind because yeah, why not? Just in case anyone wants to kind of recreate anything. It's kind of easier when you have like a big overview shot of a build to kind of see what's going on, especially with layout and pathing and all of that. This bit here is obviously very simple, but I thought it was a nice little touch to kind of add. And then over here, this kind of, what is it called? City build. Sorry. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know I had these big tables that are decorated over here. Oh well, let's just ignore those. Okay, next I thought it was very fitting to move on to my Mythopia because I feel like Mythopia is just like the second kind of biome. I always imagine it as the second one you unlock. Not sure if everyone did it that way, but I definitely did. So walking through, I made this just very overgrown. I used a lot of the same foliage, just kind of like cactuses and nice pretty pink flowers. Over here I have a little like library build, so I kind of transition into like a more red sort of vibe. So it's kind of like a witchy library. I'm imagining that people come here to like study and make potions and read lots of witchy books and stuff. I have this one set up kind of like a classroom. Over here I have like a little area where you can play the organ and some storage. And then over here, more like a sitting area slash library sort of vibe, even though the whole thing's a library, but you kind of get what I mean. And then this is more of like a cozy area. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this build. It was really fun. It took me a very long time, even though it was like such a small build, but I think it was definitely worth it because I had so much fun. So coming back here, I did kind of a little farm here. It's nothing too crazy or special. I just thought it would be good to kind of put a farm next to where we had the little market stall. So yeah, and I also had nothing really else to put there, so I thought that would do the trick. Coming through here, I have like a, what would you call it? Like more like a resort. Yeah, I would call it a resort. So coming through here, I basically really just wanted to use a lot of the new items. I have this kind of, can I get rid of that inky? I have this kind of pool area, and I thought it was so cool that we could put the pool underneath this canopy, so I did that there. I think it's such a cute little thing to do. I have a lot of the peacock sort of statues as well as a lot of these. I know that they're for companions, but I'm just imagining they're little like lounges that you can spend the day in. Here's kind of like our main, what is it called, like centerpiece. And then coming back here, I'm imagining this is like a sauna. Not a sauna, sorry, like a spa. I just have lots of like seating areas, and I imagine these to be like where you come and get your nails done or like foot massages and stuff like that. The worker would sit on those little teal seats, and you have the little bath here to like wash your hands and feet. I don't know. Sometimes I get too into like making like a storyline for a build. But I just think it's so fun. So yeah, that's basically this build. This one's more like a massage, like full body area. We obviously have some lotion and some robes. I thought this area was quite cute. And then yeah, coming through here, this is the most recent build, and it's a little orchard area. It's very different to obviously like the resort area, but I really needed a spot to put all of my fruit trees, so this is where I decided to put them. It was kind of like the last spot that I left free. And yeah, it's very basic. I just did some checkered pathing, had all of the fruit trees around. I have a little table with some fruits on them, and this one here too. I don't know, I actually really like this build. I think it's really colorful and really pretty. And then through here is just a transition area, and I just lined it with trees and lots of foliage. I'll show you kind of an overview of this biome. It is quite massive, honestly. So we have the little orchard, a big resort area, which honestly I actually really like. That was a really fun build to do. And a little witchy library, which was also such a fun build too. 3 really different builds in one area, but these areas are so big that sometimes it's nice to kind of split them up into very different builds. I feel like if I did this whole entire biome as just a resort, I would get pretty burnt out trying to decorate the whole thing, and honestly pretty bored. So okay, next on the list is also one of the first ever builds that we did, and this is a theme park, which is in Mythopia, and I really love this build. I have such a hard time doing theme park builds. This was over 2 videos. I'm pretty sure it's the second and third video in the series, but I could be wrong, but it's something around there. I did kind of like different themed areas. So this is obviously an Aladdin theme. I have some tables and chairs and some like Aladdin markets. This is such a cute build actually. I have not been here in a very long time. Over here I did like a spooky kind of restaurant sort of vibe. On the other side I did more of like a fun sort of like kiddie restaurant vibe. They're very small areas, but I did really try and like bring that vibe in. And then this one's a kind of like Dumbo slash kidcore themed area in the amusement park. This one's really fun. I really like this. The Dumbo ride is probably my favorite ride. I think it's really cute. This is kind of the centerpiece for the build. I obviously went very like Greek inspired and really fancy. I have 2 of these, what are they called? Those roundabout things, not roundabout things, Ferris wheel things, sorry, yes, Ferris wheel things. And around the whole outside of the build, I have a train track, and I just imagine that people kind of ride around the train to get to the different destinations, even though it's quite a small theme park, honestly. So this area here is kind of connected to the amusement park, but this is my very kidcore themed area. So over here is like a, you know, like when you can do like bumper carts, I did that kind of vibe, except you just go in a straight line because I really didn't have that much room. So we have like a start and a finish, and you kind of like pick whatever vehicle you want to ride in and you do the ride, whatever. Yeah, this is like a little just like a little playground, I guess. And we have a teapot ride and also a slinky ride, was also really cute. And then back here I have some of the Toy Story kind of games. So I have the photo booth, popcorn, like an alien game. This game, don't really know what it is. It's honestly kind of ugly, but I'm really glad that I got to use it in a build. We have our strength things, and then yeah, I really just tried to use a lot of the Toy Story items because I feel like I don't really use them that much. But yeah, I'm gonna give you kind of an overview of this build. This build took hours and hours and hours to do. I kind of went back and forth so much on this build, trying to get it to look how I was like envisioning. And this bit I wasn't really happy with at the end, but coming back to it, I actually think it's quite cute. It's just a little bit empty, but I feel like Storybook Vale is such a big valley, so it's really hard to decorate everything and also keep in the item limit. This next build up the stairs is my Aladdin build, which was one of the latest builds that I did. I had a lot of fun with this build. It's very jungly, very like oasis kind of vibe, and yeah, I really love it. I used so much foliage in this build and tried to really clutter it up. This is the only build that I've done with Jasmine and Aladdin's home, and I didn't do any other build because I really liked them here and I didn't want to remove their house from here. Coming through here we have like a nice little market area. We have a gem market, not really sure what that market is. We have a nice kind of roundabout to more markets back here. I actually really love this. I think it's really cute. And yeah, I just love how many more markets we have now. You can really clutter them up and make them feel so unique. So back through here is more of the Aladdin build, lots of foliage and stuff, and then you come back here and it's even more markets. So another gem one, pottery one, fabric one, all of that sort of good stuff. Honestly, very cluttered. Through here I have like a little transition area to some tables with some food on them. And then this is really weird. I don't know why I've closed that off. That tree's not meant to be there, so just ignore that. But this is my little honey farm build. It is actually very small, but I was going to say I enjoyed doing this one, but I'll be completely honest, I did not actually really enjoy doing this one. It did not turn out the way that I wanted, and I wasn't extremely happy with it, but overall I think it's fine. It's just a little bit cramped. I have like lots of honey bee stuff here. We've got the Winnie and Pooh house, a little fountain with some seating, a little market area, and obviously the honey house. Very simple, but it kind of does the job. Um, well, yeah, like I said, I didn't really enjoy doing this build. I just kind of had a headache the whole time because it was really confusing as to like how I should lay it out. But yeah. Anyways, this is the Aladdin build kind of overview. I used a lot of the big clusters, but I think it makes it really work in the end. It's probably one of my favorite builds in my Storybook Vale. Okay, moving on to something a little bit different. This is my Beauty and the Beast area, and it is so different to everything else that I did. I think I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. I had so much fun doing this build. I went obviously very pink and a little bit yellow and just a lot of color and a lot of lighting. Honestly, I love it so much. I think it's really adorable. Yeah, so cute. I really just wanted to make this build feel very like cohesive and very elegant and put together, and I think I kind of nailed it, honestly. I'm not always happy with all my builds, but this one I was definitely happy with. I kind of just went jungle kind of vibes out the side of it, and I did put this little carriage here kind of at the entrance, like they've just hopped off and they're coming into the castle. But yeah, on the other side is kind of just another transition area into our Lion King area. But I will give you a little overview of this build before we move on to the next, because they're quite different from each other, honestly. Yeah, it's actually a very simple build, this one, but I think it worked out perfectly. It's so simple, but yeah, so colorful. I really love it. Oh, and this back area here, I did little mushroom farms, which I thought was really cute. And you can actually walk down the back. No, you actually can't. Okay, never mind. I was going to say it is functional because you can walk behind, but you definitely cannot. But that is fine. Moving on to this is our last Mythopia build, and this is my little Lion King area. Very kind of overgrown, not symmetrical at all, unlike our last build. I did incorporate a lot of the scar items that I do not usually use in other builds, like this hyena cave. Loved using the waterfall in this area and just using a lot of like rustic items here and there. It's honestly a very simple build, but I have never put them in Mythopia or had thought about putting them in Mythopia, so I thought this was like quite a cool idea, since I usually don't like putting them in the sunlit because I like to use my sunlit for other things, but I also feel like sometimes they can look a little bit out of place in other biomes, so I thought they looked pretty cute here. So yeah, and I think it's a good spot for them all to be kind of together. Okay, just making sure that I have showed you all of my Mythopia, and I definitely have all of my bind. So now I guess we can move on to the Wild Woods. Okay, right in the entrance of my Wild Woods, I have a fairy godmother build, which is so fun because I literally never decorate for fairy godmother, but I thought this was the perfect little spot for her in her little tiny house. I did kind of like a fairy garden sort of vibe. I definitely think this is like the perfect fit for her. It's a very simple build, and I did make sure to make this one easy to navigate through because it is the entrance of this whole biome. I tried to use a lot of the Cinderella stuff in this build, and also made sure that this path was accessible for that little trial thing. I cannot remember what it's called. And we have our little market stall there too, which I think is really cute. It's honestly so simple, but just very kind of blue and purple, and lots of little gardens around the place. I think it really worked all together and looks really cohesive, so I really like it. It also kind of carries on straight to our fairy, I don't even know what to call it. I'm going to call it a fairy restaurant. Why not? This was one of the builds. I don't think it was too early in the series, but I really enjoyed it. I did like a moat around, which took absolutely so long. This is my kind of makeshift bridge over the little moat, which is not perfect, but it kind of does the job. In the build, we have this little waiting area to be seated in the restaurant. I think it's so cute. And then we obviously have our main restaurant area with bookshelves and a lot of kind of fairy items. I really, really, really like this. This is what I imagine like the VIP room to be. It's like kind of like a private room that's a little bit more decorated. Obviously they have their own space, but it's very similar to the rest of the build. And then on the other side, we have the little area where the fairies kind of make all the food for the customers. And I thought this is really cute. Very simple. Just use the kind of Tiana items. Have some extra food storage back there. And yeah, so simple. I loved this build though. It was so fun to do. Back here, I have this little area. Oh my goodness. I just realized that I forgot to decorate this bit. Disregard that. It looks fine when it's not decorated anyway. But yeah, this is our little moat. Thankfully, we can just walk over it, which is super, super easy. As you can see, it's not perfect. It was really hard to... Oh, I can't actually get back there. I know I can get out the other side, which is good. Because the other side leads on to the little fairy garden. Another fairy garden. I actually forgot that I did the fairy godmother build that had all the gardens. Because my idea for this build was that the fairies that work at the restaurant, they come here to harvest all the food for the restaurant. And it's quite open. Nothing too crazy or special. I did the same sort of seating arrangement that I did in the fairy restaurant. And yeah, I kind of like how this build turned out. It's a little bit weird, but overall, it does match the vibe of the biome. So here's a little overview of all of this. This bit's such a mess, but I think it does come together really well, especially when you like look at it from this and like in game. It does look very, very beautiful. So I'm very, very happy with it. And then obviously we have our little fairy godmother area, which is actually really tiny, like a really tiny build, but I think it looks really cute. I also really, really love the use of the blue trees with these like Eternity Isle trees, as well as the blue trees with the Forgotten Land trees. Look really, really nice together too. So moving on to my villains build, which was actually a lot of fun to do. This is a build that I did when I was really struggling with my item limits. So this build is very Switch friendly. Obviously, I think it's less than 400 items. I think it's like 350 items I used in this build, more or less. We have a little Hades area here with his little throne. Obviously, I kind of decorated it like he is living in an old abandoned castle and kind of just plopped his house there and is kind of like making do with, you know, like an old structure. I thought that was quite cute. Through here we have a little archway to a little Ursula area, which is quite basic, but I gave her her own little throne and stage because that's definitely very Ursula. And this little coral bench I thought really fit her too. Coming back here, I have a little kind of garden with all of the harvestables. I think this is a cute area. Nothing too crazy, but you kind of need the little garden areas in your valley somewhere. I really enjoyed this. I did this little lava slash, I don't really know what to call it, but that purple kind of goop. I did a little like purple goop area around this, and I thought it looks really cool with the mushrooms glowing and kind of like surrounding it, especially it looks really cute at night. And then back here I did kind of like a forest. I was really stressed about my item limit, so I kind of just enclosed it with some clusters, and we have a little walkway to the bridge over there, which I think is really cute. And then obviously a little mushroom farm and the Forgotten Lands, well, the Forgotten Castle thing, whatever it's called, and the little what is it called, skeleton mobile or whatever, and it's kind of like enclosed in foliage because it's been sitting for so long. I thought this was pretty cute, and I really, really, really enjoyed this build. Here's a little overview of this build. It's super open actually when you look at it from like a top-down view, but when you're in the game, it really does not feel this empty. Like, I do really like the way that it came out. Like, especially walking through the build, I think it does look really nice. So yeah, super happy with this build. Moving on to my teapot falls. This is my Candyland area, which was so fun to decorate. It's one of those builds where it's so ugly, it's kind of cute. That's what I'm going to describe it as. I love this little entrance area that I did though. It's so colorful and very, very pretty. I did this royal kind of fountain here that kind of leads into our well. our racetrack area, which we'll get into, and then our little sweet house, which I think is such an ugly house skin, if I'm being completely honest. But I mean, I paid the moonstones for it, so I might as well use it. I did 2 kind of little sitting areas beside. If you can't tell, I love to decorate tables with a lot of food. That's kind of my thing. I just noticed that I do it in literally every biome, but it does really make a difference. So coming through here, I have a little gas station with a Vanellope car because this is a racetrack. So I thought this would be awesome to add kind of at the start line. When you come in, we have the starting area here for 2 cars. We have kind of these like VIP seating where you can come and watch the race. I have Vanellope's house in the middle. I'll just kind of walk through the racetrack. So you come in here, around here, we have lots of little kind of areas. A little pit stop, which I thought was kind of cute. We have a lot of like things on the racetrack. I'm imagining them to be like obstacles you have to avoid. Here I have a little bar area where people can sit at to kind of watch the race. And then you come through here and the track kind of connects again. Lots of lollipops and random stuff on the track. And then back here is kind of, I imagine this to be like the general seating area. And I just did popsicle sticks because I thought that would be kind of cute. But yeah, I had so much fun decorating this area. And like I said, it's one of those builds where it's like so ugly, it's kind of cute. It's actually really fun though to like kind of just use a lot of the random items that probably don't look good in every single biome, but kind of using them all together makes something like really fun. But yeah, I really do love this biome, and I honestly can't wait to delete it and put Alice here. So coming soon. Okay, last and definitely not least is my beanstalk marshes. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Coming to this biome, I have a little sitting area out front and then some of these archways. I get asked a lot what these are. These are like New Year's kind of celebration pack bundle thing that we got from the premium shop. I have no idea what they're called, I'm very sorry, but they are a premium item, unfortunately. We got them just last New Year's, well, this New Year's, sorry. But yeah, anyways, coming through, we have this little centerpiece. I put lots of flowers and foliage and stuff. Back here is just a very simple kind of entrance into our what is her name? I was going to say Mirabelle, but the lady that starts with an M. Magnificent. No, not magnificent. Maleficent. Sorry. Not magnificent. I don't know what I'm on. Anyways, this is my manor build. I forgot to say that. So I put a lot of the like pretty kind of manors in this build. We have this new kind of blue manor. I decorated it obviously blue with a little bit of like pink and greens. And I think it looks really cute. I did quite a bit of like yellow accents because I thought it really complemented the plaza bushes that I was using. But yeah, very simple. Over here is just a little park area with the well. I love doing little well areas that are like open with maybe a little bit of seating because I just find it really easy to kind of like navigate when I'm fast traveling. I find it really annoying when I put wells in places that are overly decorated. That's probably a personal thing, I don't know. But over here we have 2 more manors. This is the Lady Manor. I just did a little kind of flower garden out the front of her house with a little fountain. I thought that was pretty cute, pretty simple. 2 little topiary things too. And then over here I have the monstrous house, which I decorated as more kind of like a little bit spooky but still fancy. And I really do like the vibe of this. I loved using these little pillars because I don't really use them that much, and the spooky fountain too. And I just put a little pool here because I do imagine that the Monsters Inc. characters, this is like their little holiday home, and I definitely feel like they'd have a pool. But over here is really nothing special. It's honestly a little bit ugly, but I will show it. It's just a little transition area into our bridge that leads to our Beauty and the Beast area. But yeah, that's wraps up my whole Storybook Vale. This was a long time coming. Here's a little overview of this biome. It is quite empty, but that is because we kind of ran out of items. I do have 100 more, but I actually had a lot of fun doing more empty builds. I thought it was really challenging, but also it looks really nice to have a lot more empty space in builds. So I definitely think I'm gonna, moving forward, be doing that a little bit more often. But yeah, like I said, all of these builds are in my playlist Storybook Vale build series, so you see me do each of these builds individually, me walking through it, and you get to see kind of my whole process of doing these builds if you're interested in watching any of them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really had fun doing this build series. I'm not really sure if I'm going to delete this and do another Storybook Vale build series, or if I'm going to do an Eternity Isle. I'm kind of leaning towards Eternity Isle because I feel like Eternity Isle is kind of lost and a lot of people don't do builds there, even though I think it's one of my favorite places to build. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really good rest of your day. Bye bye.